What's behind me is not important.
Hey everybody, my name's Tim. I am an HPD instructor and track day enthusiast. I often get asked questions regarding track day events, which has led me to making this series of videos. What you'll see is a ton of comprehensive information as a collection of tips, tricks, and knowledge I've picked up along the way, as well as from research I've done on HPDE and my instructor training. There are few thrills in life as exciting as driving a track at speed. The number one goal is always good, safe fun. With that said, it's worth mentioning that there are risks inherent with performance driving at the track. Doing your homework beforehand can help mitigate these risks. If you have questions or other helpful tips or disagree with something I've said, please indicate so in the comments below. Whether you're contemplating your first track event or you have been to the track and are now looking to improve your game, hopefully you find this video series informative and it helps your HPD event be successful and fun. So here we go with video 1. First up, what is a track day? What is HPDE? I'll use these terms interchangeably. Is this racing? Are you awarded points? Are there trophies? HPDE stands for High Performance Drivers Education. You might also hear it explained as High Performance Driving Event. I say both are correct, and it really comes down to the organization and your driver class group. When you are new to HPDE, there is a heavy emphasis on education. When you've been doing it for a while, the term event might be more applicable than education. Having said that, no matter what your experience level is, we're all honing our skill set and hopefully getting a little better each time we hit the track. These events are held on a road course, which is another name for a paved track that is not a drag strip. This is different from autocross, which is usually held in a large parking lot with a course defined by cones. A track day is different than wheel-to-wheel racing in that you don't all line up, start, and then battle to be the first across the finish line. You don't need a competition license for a track day. As a matter of fact, you really need nothing other than a car, and even those are sometimes available for rent. If you don't have an appropriate helmet, they're often available for rent from the organization. For HPDE, you feed onto the track individually and work on honing your track driving skill set. This isn't to say you are out there for a Sunday drive. Track days are not parade laps. You are very much working on your skill set with a goal to achieve your quickest lap and will often have the vehicle ahead squarely in your sights. Maybe not so much in the beginning with the novice groups, but it becomes much more of gentleman racing in the higher groups. This gentleman racing comes with some rules and courtesies that you won't find in wheel-to-wheel racing though. Most notably when it comes to passing. When you are a beginner in the novice group, you will most likely be limited to passing only in the designated straight sections of the track. This is often the rule when drivers with mixed experiences are on the track together, like a member day or on a private track event where there's no separation of novice to advance. Once you progress up to the higher run groups, you are usually cleared to pass anywhere along the track, including in the turns. Some organizations allow this in the intermediate group, but it is more common to have passing in the corners reserved for the advanced groups only. Unlike wheel-to-wheel racing though, passing is not a forced maneuver. You are not fighting into the corner. Think of it more as an earned right and a contract between two parties. When you have worked your way up to and behind the car ahead of you, you have earned the right to pass that car. I'll be covering passing in details in video 4 of this series, but for now we're just touching on it to help define what HPDE is. To reiterate, HPDE is not wheel-to-wheel racing. The higher levels can be somewhat competitive as we're striving to be fast, but HPDE is simply performance driving at the track in a controlled setting. Different organizations will run track days with their own unique flavor, but as a newcomer, you'll most likely start with a classroom session and basically progress up the ranks from novice to intermediate to advanced. It is common to start with an in-car instructor and work your way up to driving solo on track. An alternative is a lead-follow setup where you follow an instructor-driven car around the track to learn the line. After getting cleared to drive solo, you might get assigned an instructor again at some point, especially when making the jump to higher run groups. The instructor's role is to make sure you have good, safe fun and to help you learn how to handle your car in a performance driving setting. It is important that you follow your instructor's guidance. We can only do so much to keep you safe without a set of vehicle controls in front of us. We try to instill good habits and discourage bad habits that can lead to issues on the track. You may be a great driver on the street, but the track is a different animal. The speeds and intensity get higher as you move up through the ranks. Don't be nervous for your first track event. Don't feel like you won't be good enough, fast enough, responsive enough, etc. You will be in the novice group with other beginners under the guidance of an instructor. We were all rookies at one point too. The instructors are happy to work with you and develop your skills. When it comes down to it, the instructors are track enthusiasts and we like to see other people coming out to play. The track is our sandbox. The more the merrier. I have coached drivers on their very first track event. It's rewarding to see them enjoy themselves while learning a new skill. Okay, so let's take a minute to talk about what makes a good track car. You do not need a high horsepower GT500 Corvette, Porsche, or Lamborghini. I've seen darn near every car imaginable out on the track. Whether you have 150 horsepower, 800 horsepower, the goal is the same: to get on track in a controlled setting and have fun exploring the performance capabilities of your vehicle. You basically run what you brung, as they say, but there are often vehicle limitations regarding the likes of trucks, SUVs, and convertibles. Check with your organization's rules for restrictions. So why do we go to the track? First of all, it's fun as hell. You can explore the performance limits of your vehicle without the obstacles, laws, and chaos of street driving. Not only will you have a blast, but you'll make new friends that share similar interests. There are some very track-capable cars available these days. To get the most out of owning such fine machines, the track is where it's at. Again though, run what you brung. I have seen 4-door family sedans and little Econo 4-banger hatches out on the track driven by people with big shit-eating grins. On track, you'll learn and develop skills that will help you in your street driving. You'll become a more competent driver. On your daily commute, you'll start looking for your race line, your corner apexes and exits, and wonder why the guy ahead isn't giving you the point by. You will start thinking about weight transfer and grip. You'll gain confidence with over and understeer. A word of caution though, this is a fun, adrenaline-filled activity. It's highly addictive and not necessarily cheap. You have been warned. So now that we know what HPD is, what can you do to have success at the track? These videos will be a good start, but seat time will be needed. One of my side jobs is I teach martial arts. You can watch jiu-jitsu videos all day long and I can explain the moves to you, but to truly learn the craft, you'll need to get on the mat and grapple. Similarly with HPDE, studying in advance is helpful, but you'll need to get on track to learn and perfect your skill set. Another one of my jobs is being a pilot. Track driving and flying airplanes have parallels. There are mental as well as physical aspects involved in getting the machine to do what you want it to do. There's a balance between making the vehicle do what you want it to do and allowing it to do what it needs to do. These videos will help prep the mental side, and getting on track will give you the physical training. Other than my video series, what other resources are there? When you're going to a track for the first time, you can look at their track map, Google satellite maps, and specific track videos on YouTube. You can also drive some tracks and simulators. I'll say this though, the prep beforehand is helpful, but just like watching jiu-jitsu videos compared to actually grappling, there's no substitute for getting on track, feeling the car, assessing the grip, feeling the G's, mashing the brake pedal going into turns, and feeling the throttle on corner exits. On to the where. We've defined track days, now where can we find some? You can use Google Maps, Facebook, as well as internet searches to locate the track closest to you. Motorsportsreg.com has a good search by area as shown here. There's also speedwayonline.com, which has a nice map showing road courses around the country. Do know that many of these tracks are private with membership dues. However, they often have open track days for non-members. When you find a track, go to their website calendar and look for non-member days. Some tracks host their own non-member performance driving days. Other tracks rent to third parties that host events. These third-party track rental days are not always listed on the track calendars. Organizations like Chin Track Days, MVP Track Time, Apex Driving Academy, Edge Addicts, and many others around the country will host HPDE events at these tracks. If you're having trouble finding non-member events, call tracks you are interested in and ask if there are any non-member events coming up. Also worth mentioning is you might attend a single track day or multi-track weekend. Make sure your car is up to the task. Car prep will be covered in video 2 of this series. On to weather and your track day. Track days often sell out, requiring you to book well in advance to secure a spot. You won't know what the weather is going to be at the time of the booking. HPDE organizations typically have a no refund policy once the day gets closer. If the weather ends up being crappy, you will have a decision to make. Do you skip the track day and forego the entry fee, or go drive in the rain? Track driving in the wet obviously creates challenges and opportunities for expanded learning. Traction is reduced and hydroplaning can be a real threat, especially if your tires don't have much tread depth. Don't take slicks or tires with no tread left to a wet track day. It won't go well. You can get some good training though on vehicle control driving in the rain. Many people will tell you they learn the most from a wet track day. If you end up attending a track day in less than ideal weather conditions, slow down. Don't drive faster than the conditions allow. Feel the track, feel the car, and drive accordingly. Another point worth mentioning briefly is you normally drive with the windows down at the track. This is for safety, so you can be pulled out if needed. It's also for hand signals. Some organizations will allow the windows to be up if it's raining harder. Check with the organization's rules. If you end up driving with the windows up, point to pass is done with your car's turn signals. You signal to the side you want the car to pass you on. Again, check with your organization. Other than weather disrupting your event, sometimes life throws you a curveball. Your car may not be ready for the scheduled event. You may be waiting on parts, tires, a rebuild, whatever. If you need to cancel, the sooner you make that decision, the more money you'll have coming back to you. Another question I get asked about often is insurance. Your auto insurance policy most likely will not cover any mishaps at the track. It's slightly possible if the event is listed as high performance driver education, but I wouldn't count on my daily driver policy covering my mishaps at the track. You can purchase track day insurance, but it is based on the value of the car. If you have an expensive car, the insurance will not be cheap. Plus, it usually has a large deductible. These policies are primarily aimed to protect you against total car loss. You're going to find varying opinions on track insurance. Some opt for no coverage, some opt for single day policy, while others opt for an annual track insurance plan. Pick the option which works best for you. I've heard some say they get insurance when new to the track while learning the track and skip coverage on subsequent visits. I personally forego track day insurance. Your mileage may vary. If you do a lot of track days like I do, adding insurance fees would get real expensive. Some tracks basically have no obstacles to hit if you end up off track, while others are lined with walls and barriers. Even if there are no obstacles, bad things can happen. If you end up having an incident with another car on the track, you are typically responsible for your own vehicle. The other driver is responsible for theirs, regardless of fault. But also if you hit barriers, Armco, and it requires repair or replacement, you're going to be required to cover those costs. So speaking of money, I get asked how much does it cost to hit the track? A single track day might cost around $250 to $500, and a multi-day weekend at a big track can easily be north of $1,000. Smaller tracks will be cheaper than bigger tracks like Cota, Road Atlanta, Laguna Seca, and the likes. Beyond the entry fee, other expenses are tires, brake pads, fluids, and gas. Don't forget transportation to and from, plus a hotel if needed. It quickly adds up. This is not a cheap sport, so to speak. Which car you take to the track will seriously affect your costs of consumables. Heavyweight horsepower cars like a GT500, Hellcat, ZL1, CTSV, and some BMWs to name a few are like Texas. Everything's bigger. Bigger power, bigger brakes, bigger weight, bigger grip. They eat consumables at an alarming rate. How much so? The answer is it depends. It depends on the track and it depends on the aggressiveness of the driver. I absolutely drain a 16-gallon tank of gas in as little as 20 minutes on these tracks. At a big track where I spend a lot of time standing on the gas pedal, I take 60 gallons of gas with me for the day. I usually end up going through most, if not all of it. I also get my most tire wear at these big high-speed tracks. A new set of tires can run you north of $2,500 and may be done in as little as 3 track days. Tire life might extend out to 5 to 6 days when pushing the car less or while on a slower, tighter, or more technical, smaller track. Let's face it, a 4,000-pound, 700 to 800 horsepower car is a hungry animal that will devour some consumables. There are far cheaper cars to take to the track, but you'll have stupid fun tracking these high horsepower cars. You can always dial back the insanity, which will save you money in gas, tires, and brake pads. Other costs will be changing out engine oil, brake fluid, and rear diff fluid. Well, that's it for video 1 of the series, Defining and Finding HPD Events. Be sure to check out video 2, which I'll cover track day prep for both the car as well as you, the driver. Remember, if you have other tips, tricks, hacks, or disagree with something I've said, please contribute and add to the comments below. Thanks for watching and have fun at the track.